Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Board of Directors meeting of the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency. We're meeting at the BWB Building, 201 West 3rd Street, Jamestown, New York. We're streaming live via YouTube and Zoom. It's December the 19th at 10:05. We'll start with a roll call. Gary Henry's here. Brad Walters.
Here.
Dan Hetzenreiter. Here. Stephen Thorpe.
Here.
Dan DeMart.
Here.
Amy Harding.
Here.
Kevin Muldowney.
Here.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Here.
Glad to have everybody here and I got the full board. I'd like to take just a moment and thank Kevin for his time on the board. I believe this will be your last meeting.
Well,
So certainly enjoyed having you on the board. I enjoyed getting to know you better. And so we certainly appreciate all you've done.
thank you.
You should have already received the minutes from November the 28th meeting, had a chance to review those. We'll go ahead and approve those if you'd choose to do so. Do we have a motion?
I'll move the minutes.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kevin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes have been approved. We'll go ahead and move into new business, starting with A, Wells Enterprises, presented by Rich, Rosie, and Millen. Rosie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I get into a high-level overview of the project, I just want to introduce Dick Kennedy, Brad Gallus, and then Chris Shafstock, all representing Wells Enterprises. So back in August, I reviewed the application for Wells. Wells is planning on a multi-million-dollar phase redevelopment of their existing facility totaling 217,500 square feet, which will ultimately be a new plant with a state-of-the-art production facility. Wells has requested their pilot, including sales tax exemption and property tax abatement. Pilot will produce payments to the affected taxing jurisdictions over the life of the project in the amount of $2,219,000. With property tax exemptions totaling an approximate $450,000. Sales tax savings will be approximately $11.5 million. Wells is looking to retain over 400 jobs and create approximately 200 new jobs. Yesterday, you did have the public hearing on resolutions that you're going to be reviewing today. We did have Vince DeJoy and the mayor present at that meeting. The transcripts are in your packet for your review. We also did receive a letter of support this morning from Mayor Rosas. I'll make sure that the board gets an updated transcript so that you can see that letter of support. Before I pass it on to Chris to provide more details about the project, Mark, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, just real quick and high level, I wanted to, first of all, thank the Wells team. It's been a pleasure to work with you and, this is just such an exciting project. It really is a game changer for the county and the North County in particular, with the creation of jobs. I'm thrilled for the workforce. I'm thrilled for the community and, what a great partner Wells is. And we look forward to ongoing collaboration with you and look forward to the future working with you. So with that, James is here. James, did you want to read the statement from the county executive?
Yep, so PJ just wanted me to say he's really excited about this project and he wants to congratulate both the IDA and Wells on it. This is going to be great for the North County, great for Chautauqua County as a whole, and bring a lot of jobs there. So on behalf of PJ, we just want to say we want to thank you for staying in the community, investing here, bringing jobs back to the city of Dunkirk. They could have gone anywhere, but they chose to stay right here in Chautauqua County because what we're doing is working and we're making a really business-friendly environment here. So congratulations, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, James.
Okay. Before I pass it on to Chris, I do want to let the board know that in your packet is the cost benefit analysis and it did come back favorable. Chris, can you hear us okay?
Loud and clear.
Thank you. Would you like to provide more details about the project?
Yeah, well, I wanted to start by saying to the entire board, happy holidays and thank you for the consideration and continued support of this project, and a big special acknowledgement to not only Mark and Rich for their support, but Rosie, especially to you. A lot of conversations, and your partnership and due diligence on this has been sincerely appreciated. So thank you very much for leaning in as much as you have and helping us get to this point. We do have Brad and Gallus and Dick Kennedy dialed in from Lamar's, Iowa at HQ here. As many of you are aware, the two of them have been working quite diligently as the points on this project. So if there are further questions, we're certainly happy to take them. But Rosie, I would just say this project has been one in the making. We've been thrilled with the outcome so far and the support received not only at the state but also city and local level. And hopefully you all are seeing and starting to feel the effects of this. And this will certainly be a monumental shift and change for a really exciting project in a short future year. So with that, if there's anything specific we can layer in and add, I think we're here for questions.
Chris, does the board have any questions?
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a question, but I just want to, thank the team at Wells there. After the announcement in August, I had the opportunity to meet with most of your folks, and the focus on the community is huge. And to see the paperwork come back today, $250 million investment is huge for all of Chautauqua County and especially Northern Chautauqua County, Dunkirk. So thank you for your project and investment in the community.
Glad to be a part of it, and really looking forward to what's to come, both for the community and our employees. Just excited about the project as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions before I turn it over to Millen? No, okay. Before I actually pass it on to you, Millen, I do just want to point out that with the deviation resolutions, there was supposed to be the deviation notices. Those did get attached separately. So those are in the packet, but just not with the resolution. I did print them out in case anybody wants to look at them. With that said, I will pass it on to Millen so that he can do the deviation hearings and then describe the resolutions that are being presented to the board.
Okay. As Rosie mentioned, the deviation letters were sent out to each of the affected tax jurisdictions. We've not gotten any feedback other than, of course, the city is very excited about having this go forward. These are two separate deviations, one for the substation and one for the main plant. And the reason for that is the substation already has a pilot. So we're amending that to sort of line up with the new pilot for the main facility. Both are fixed dollar 10-year pilots. Again, the schedule is in your package. For the plant, it is based on the current assessed value at a 2% inflator. And we don't know what the assessment's going to be, but the thought is that since the actual square footage gets a little bit smaller, even though it's a newer facility, we just sort of assumed that was the assessment going forward. So the notice having gone out, I'd like to open the hearing. Is there anyone from any affected tax jurisdiction that would like to be heard on the two proposed pilots and the deviation there from the UTEP? Hearing none, we'll close the.
Hi, Steve Joy, Director of Planning and Development for the City of Dunkirk, and thank you, Rosie, for putting Mayor Rosas' letter on the record. On behalf of the City of Dunkirk, and we have Mayor-elect Kate here, Dobias, with us today. We just want to thank Wells for their significant investment. And we want to thank the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency for all that you've done to help them with this financial assistance package and make this project a reality. So the City of Dunkirk is in support of the applications and for financial assistance as you've stated them. So thank you so much, Wells, and happy holidays to you all too.
Thank you, Vince.
Thanks, Vince.
Very good. If there are no other comments, we'll close the public hearing, the deviation hearing. And I guess I'd like to describe the resolutions that are before you. And while you usually have 3 for a project, in this case, there are 6. And the reason that there are 6 is because this is an existing project. So one project and one approval consists of the substation pilot. Another is the brand new pilot on the main facility, and the third is the sales tax exemption. So in theory, it's 3 different projects. So we have one seeker resolution, because again, seeker doesn't like you to look at projects, slicing them up. They call that segmentation. So the one seeker resolution is for the entire facility. And we've analyzed it, looked at the site plan and recommend that you find that there is no negative adverse impact, because again, the footprint of the building is actually getting a hair smaller. So there's a little more green space. So it probably has a positive effect on the environment. So the first resolution is the seeker resolution. And then there's 2 pilot deviation resolutions, one for each of the 2 pilots as we just went through. And then there's 3 approving resolutions. Again, pilot, sales tax. So that's why there's 6 in total when you're used to seeing 3.
We can move those all at once, right?
And if the chair feels like it, we can move all 6 at the same time.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Hearing none. Brad, can you move new business A3 for us?
Resolution 12-19-2301, secret determination resolution. Resolution 12-19-23-02, tax deviation resolution. 2023 substation pilot amendment. Resolution 12-19-23-03, tax deviation resolution. 2023 pilot. Resolution 12-19-23-04, 2023 substation pilot. Amendment authorizing resolution. And resolution 12-19-23-05, 2023 project agreement authorizing resolution. Resolution 12-19-23-06, 2023 pilot authorizing resolution.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Kevin. Do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Dan Demart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
And it's unanimously approved. Certainly would like to thank Wells for their investment into our community. We're glad to be a part. Looking forward to all the jobs that this is going to provide. And I'd also like to, Rosie hit at as a highlight, but make sure that you do take note of the cost benefit analysis that's provided in our packets. 42-1. I mean, this is a phenomenal project, not only for the employees, but just for the whole community. And so we're just glad to be a part. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move along into new business B, Bailey Manufacturing. And Christine, are you going to present that for us?
Yes, I'd be happy to, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me. Some water. I will introduce you to John Hines, who is President and CEO and owner of Bailey Manufacturing. But first, I'd like to provide a little bit of background on the project. Bailey Manufacturing is a manufacturer located in Forestville that provides metal stamping, machining, welding, and assembly. The company supplies auto parts that eventually become components of the major auto manufacturers, serving primarily the United States, Mexico, China, and South Africa. CCIDA has worked extensively with Bailey Manufacturing throughout the years, providing meaningful assistance as we navigate through complex situations, including when we acquired the remaining 49% company ownership from a previous owner, and when they were significantly impacted by the coronavirus pandemic as a non-essential employer and related auto industry supplies shortages. Bailey's business has grown, but it currently no longer house the entire operation. Company owner John Hines is with us today to discuss a loan application for $130,000 related to a new project they are preparing to undertake their location. I now invite John to describe a little bit more about
Thank you, board. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Rich. Just wanted to let the board know we are currently looking to expand our facility by adding a 7,000 square foot warehouse space, which we are currently in the process of renting right now. So it will allow us to both bring our manufacturing equipment and raw material to a strategic location right next to our plant so that we can become more efficient and continue to provide jobs in the community.
Perfect. Thank you, John. The project total is $330,000. The loan request that you have before you today is for $130,000 of the $330,000. And the company's equity injection would be $80,000, which is about 24%, which is well above the typically minimum required 10% by the IDA. Current employment presently is 65.
84.
Yeah, 84, I'm sorry. I thought it said that on the application. Okay, it's 84.
Growing fast, growing fast.
They plan to have 2 new jobs. The loan application was presented and John and Deb Becerra is with us today, from Daily Manufacturing also.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Deb.
Was presented to the loan review committee last Thursday on December 14th. And there are minutes from that meeting provided in your packet today, along with the complete application that I thought said 65, it must say 84. Oh, okay, so that's the difference, permanent versus, okay. Thank you. So full details were provided to the loan committee, reviewed, and minutes are included in your packet. And the loan committee made a recommendation to the board for approval of the loan with the details that are attached to the resolution in your packet. At this point, I don't know if we need to ask for a motion before I review the details, or if you'd like me to review the recommendation first.
Go ahead and just give us the details and then we'll.
So the recommended resolution by the loan committee to the board is a resolution authorizing an LTAF revolving loan fund, EDA CARES Act fund, and or CRLF loan for a Bailey Manufacturing Company in the amount of $130,000. The loan terms are 10 years at 4% interest with principal and interest payments made monthly. The loan would be secured by one, a subordinate lien mortgage position on a real estate located at 11003 Bennett State Road, Forestville, New York, 14062. SBL numbers 83.00-2-25.2 and 83.00-2-26 behind the bank's first mortgage. 2, a subordinate lien assignment of rents by Bailey Manufacturing Company LLC behind the bank and CCIDA's existing assignment. 3, a subordinate lien position on all business assets, including but not limited to furniture, gestures, machinery, equipment, inventory, and accounts receivable behind the bank and CCIDA's existing assignment. 4, unlimited personal guarantee provided by John Hines. 5, man life insurance in the amount of a loan from John Hines. And a transaction stream may be accepted in lieu of a phase 1 appraisal, and building invoices may be accepted in lieu of a building appraisal.
Thank you. Did the board have any questions, Kevin?
I just wanted to word that I have to abstain from voting on this.
Thank you.
Because of the business.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Dan Hetzenrader, could you move new business B2 for us?
Gladly. Resolution 12-19-2307, resolution to approve Tech EDA CARES Act funds and or CRLF loans to Bailey Manufacturing Company LLC.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brad. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe. Dan Demart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
And Kevin is going to abstain. So it's approved with one abstention. So we're glad to be a part of this. It's been a pleasure to watch your business grow and to be involved in it in different ways through the years, and to see this expansion is good for the whole county, and we're glad to be a part. Thank you.
John, I
Thank
will
you.
tell you at the loan committee, I did tell the loan committee about the day Bill Daly stepped in front of the electronic eye and shut the line down on you. He only cost you a half hour that day. That was all. Luck, John.
We'll move into new business C, presented by Mark.
Yeah, so resolution 12-19-23-08 approves the acceptance of funding through the county. Annually, the county provides funding to the IDA, really from two different sources. One is from the general fund. It's a business development assistance and a promotion. It's $161,107. And that goes towards programs and activities that stimulate job retention, creation and growth, and capital improvements, things like site listing sites, publicity and promotion, membership in economic development agencies, etc. That's the 161. Oh, out of that also about 24 of that goes to the Small Business Development Center and help support their activities for helping startups and others with business plans, etc. And then the other piece is the $80,000 from the 3% occupancy tax. It's for tourism development. And, we've seen a big uptick of projects such as like the Harbor Hotel and the DoubleTree and Hideaway Bay, the White Inn, etc. And that helps us to really promote our programs and to do the activities that we need to accelerate and catalyze those tourism related projects. So again, it's 161 plus 80 from the county to the IDA.
Did anybody have any questions? Hearing none. Steve, would you move new business C1 for us?
Resolution 23-08 of the members of the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency approving entry into various grant agreements with Chautauqua County.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. We'll do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Dan DeMart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Hi.
And the resolution is approved. We'll move into resolution C2.
Yeah, we have Bob Murray here from Harris Beach. Bob has been working with the IDA for some of the ABO recommendations. And so he's going to talk about the lease agreements between the IDA, the Chautauqua Lake and Watershed Management Alliance, and the County Department of Planning and Development, two different resolutions.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning. Thanks for having me here this morning. So the item before you today really results from the authority audit of this agency. And one of the items the Authority Budget Office found was that the existing leases, the two leases that Mark just referred to, were undertaken inconsistent with the provisions of the Public Authority Law. Public Authority Law has very specific requirements that need to be followed when any public entity disposes of property. So kind of a weird word, but disposes means selling property or leasing property. And when the Public Authority Law, when it came into effect, there was some crazy stories where agencies were selling property to the chairperson's brother for no bid and things like that. But history goes back to some of the kiosks on the Erie Canal, the canal system, which were pretty interesting. So the law requires transparency and certain procedures to be followed. the law prefers bids, advertising, public auctions. It wants to give the public the best chance, and it's trying to make sure that the authorities obtain at least the fair market value when the sale or lease is proposed. But like any good law, there's plenty of exceptions. The law does permit one-on-one negotiation, so you don't have to bid or auction all the properties. Someone can knock on your door, or you could approach somebody for a one-off negotiated disposition. So here, the two leases are considered leases by negotiation. And it's timely that the county lease comes up for renewal anyway, and the the water lines lease was a month to month. So we have no problem complying with the authority budget office. And these leases gets renewed, are contemplated to be renewed today. All of the public authority law procedures are now being followed. The requirement is that the authority is doing an appraisal to determine, hey, what is the market rate for this property? And so Mark had that done. The appraisal was obtained for the lease value of the properties. You look at that baseline, this is a below fair market value disposition, which the statute does not like, but there's exceptions to those. There's several exceptions to below fair market value disposition. The two that this board can comfortably rely on are the leases to a county entity, a public entity, a governmental entity, and the also leases are also consistent with the mission for the agency. There's tremendous synergy with housing the two entities here within the staff members and the agencies within the benefit of the county. So then so we followed those procedural steps. The resolutions before you today, I don't have it in front of you. I think it's Exhibit A. There's several statutory items that the board is to consider when you're disposing of a property for below fair market value. With the conclusion being that there's no reasonable alternative to the proposed below market transfer that would achieve the same purposes of the transfer. So I believe that Mark and I and Richard, we spent time talking about this. The synergies and the values that we had by having, who else would be in the space and who else could have a synergistic and complementary mission to this agency. And there's plenty of other examples where IDAs house county and or other types of agencies that have similar missions for the benefit of the community. So the resolution tracks all the procedural requirements, and you have the right finding in front of you. And if you're voting, you can make that finding and you're compliant again with public authority law.
Did anybody on the board have any questions? So can we move resolutions C2 and C3 at the same time? Didn't we just discuss both of those?
Yeah.
Okay. Dan DeMart, can you move resolution C2 for us?
Resolution 12-19-23-09 of the County of Industrial Development Agency, negotiate, execute, and deliver a first lease agreement to be entered into with the Chautauqua Lake and Watershed Management Alliance.
And can you move C3 as well?
Resolution 12-19-23-10 of the County of Chautauqua Development Agency, negotiate, execute, and deliver a First Amendment to lease agreement entered into with the County of Chautauqua.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sagan. We'll do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe. Dan DeMart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
And both resolutions are approved. We'll move it to resolution C4.
I'll handle that. So this resolution will approve the acceptance of Empire State Development's Fast New York program grant of $5.25 million for the Ripley shovel-ready site. As you're all aware, we've been working on this for several years. The site is over in Ripley off of Shortman Road, about 150 acres. It's a $16 million project. This funding needs to be allocated towards infrastructure. So it's going to pay for things like erosion control, stormwater management, $2.3 million on the road, extending water, extending sewer, extending electric, natural gas main, telephone and communications. So those items add up to $5.2 million. What else?
5.25, right?
Yeah, 5.25. And it's a reimbursable grant, so we're still thinking about how we're gonna do that, whether we borrow the money, whether we, ask the county to bond for it. We don't really know exactly how we're gonna handle that, but we'll figure that out. So I'm really thrilled. Our consultants from Phillips Lytle, we have a whole team, Clark Patterson Lee, Nate Aldrich took the lead on applying for the funding. Emma Cook helped. So we're just really thrilled, and this gets us, we have about 13 million, a little over 13 of the 16 right now. We're still waiting on another $1 million grant, and we've got time, because really we're looking at purchasing the phase 1 parcels right now, and then we have options on the phase 2 parcels. So it's about 45 acres and about 85 acres or so. So we have time, and there's other things we can do too by even truncating, maybe not extending the road, the 3,000 feet we envision. So there's ways of sort of cutting that budget back if we need to.
Thank you. Did we have any questions from the board? Amy, would you move resolution C4 for us?
Resolution 12-19-23-11, resolution of the members of the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency accepting Empire State Development Fast New York Grant funds for Ripley Interstate 90 shovel-ready site development project.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
And roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenreiter.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe. Dan Demart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
Thank you. The resolution has been approved. And the last one for Mark will be resolution C5.
Yeah, so this resolution, we're by the end of the year here, we're gonna actually purchase those phase 1 parcels I talked about, and that necessitates the need for a seeker determination. And Matt Fitzgerald from Phillips Lytle has really taken the lead on this, and he actually wrote a script for me so that I don't mess it up, I guess. I think I will read that script, so because it's from the expert. So from 2009 to 2010, the IDA served as lead agency for the review of the development of the Ripley shovel-ready interstate development site and issued a generic environmental impact statement, a GEIS, for the project. Now, the IDA is evaluating changes to the project that include shifting the project site to the west. This change will allow the project to avoid several acres of DEC regulated wetlands, while also providing for access to the site from Shortman Road. The project otherwise remains consistent with what the board previously reviewed and will allow for up to approximately 1 million square feet or more of new warehousing or manufacturing uses on the 150-acre campus. The resolution is a negative declaration pursuant to SECRA because while the western parcels now proposed to be developed were not analyzed in the GEIS, the shift in project location will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts.
In fact, it probably helps the environmental impact because instead of being up to and over a wetland, we're just sort of moving it over a little bit to avoid the wetland.
Yeah, I'll make one other comment. The original plan was to have the traffic, the trucks coming off of the thruway, heading south on Shortman Road down to Route 20 and going east. And then the proposed road was coming off of Route 20 into the site. So this is much better. It's going to avoid all that truck traffic because basically the trucks will get off the interstate and then they'll go south on Shortman Road and then turn directly into the site. So it's just a much better location. It took a lot of work, but you know, I think it's a much better location for that reason as well.
Did the board have any questions?
Does the DEC like the plan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
Everyone likes the plan.
I had the pleasure.
You know, real quick, a couple other things I wanted to say real quick was that there was a lot of things we had to do. We had to get the zoning changed there. That happened last year because it was zoned ag. And now it's zoned appropriately for the uses that we're contemplating. We had to get an ag exemption. We had the town board just approved a road maintenance agreement. So what we'll do is we'll enter into an agreement with any developers that they basically like Loves, where they have a community host agreement and a pilot potentially, and that will give them the funding they need to maintain the road. So, and the water and sewer for that matter. So, a lot of things have had to happen to get to this point.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna mention, I had the pleasure of meeting Matt Fitzgerald, who put this seeker together. And if you ever have any environmental questions or seekers, I mean, you just hint at talking about it and he lights up. I've never seen anybody that this kind of stuff so much, but obviously does really good work, really knows what he's doing. So certainly appreciate his work on this to get this ready for us.
Best from the business.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kevin Muldowney, would you move new business C5 for us?
Sure. Resolution 12-19-23-12 Ripley Shovel Ready Site Determination Resolution.
And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sagan. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe. Dan Demart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
And the resolution unanimously passes.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move to new business D, presented by Rich.
So back in 2022, the IDA authorized us to take title to a piece of abandoned property that was in the tax auction that was requested by us from ConnectGen. ConnectGen, as you know, is the 270 megawatt solar project in Ripley. So we purchased the property, made a deal with the county. We're selling it for the same exact amount that we bought it for. And we're just asking today to formalize that with the resolution. So this will be integral to them to help them get their project up and running, which they hope to start construction in 2024. So that's it. Okay.
Anybody have any questions about this? Sagan, would you move new business D1 for us?
Sure. Resolution 12-19-23-13 of the members of the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency to sell ConnectGen Chautauqua County LLC property located on Northeast Sherman Road in the town of Ripley, Chautauqua County, New York.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kevin. Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Dan Demart.
Aye.
Amy Harding.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
The resolution is unanimously approved. Next, we'll move into new business E, banking resolutions, again presented by Rich.
So historically, the IDA has always had two banks. It was M&T, where we utilized their treasury division to do all of our ACH payments and bank transfers. Our checking accounts, savings accounts are there. And we also had accounts at Five Star. Since Five Star left the community, we have closed those accounts and we are now asking to enter into a relationship with Cattaraugus Community Bank as a secondary bank to hold some deposits. As you know, we agreed to separate our checking accounts for all three entities, CREDC, CRC, and the IDA. And this will just give us another, which I think is a good idea, another bank account to hold some money and utilize as needed. So it's just routine.
Any questions from the board? Brad, can you move new business E1 for us?
Resolution 12-19-23-14 of the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency regarding deposits of money and investment of funds.
Do we have a second? Thank you, Steve. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters,
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader,
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe,
Aye.
Dan Demart,
Aye.
Amy Harding,
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney, Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Aye.
Thank you. The resolution has been approved. Next, we'll move into new business F, discussing our meeting schedule. Art?
Yeah, real quick. So if you want to pass those out, the meeting schedule has been tweaked a little bit. As you're all aware, our loan committee meetings are on the second Thursday, continue to be that second Thursday of the month. The board meetings are on the fourth Tuesday of the month. There's some exceptions around holidays, et cetera. But we're moving the board meeting and the loan committee up a half an hour. So the loan review committee meeting will be at 11 a.m. and the board meetings will be at 10:30 a.m. Part of the reason why, and we talked about this, was that we want to also have lunch at these meetings because it's sort of in the middle of the day. It disrupts your day. So by sort of moving it ahead a little bit, we can have our meeting and then have lunch. I think we'll try it for a year and see how it goes. That's it. Any questions?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Did you want to go ahead and do your executive director report?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say. Normally, or we used to have a holiday party and that was the opportunity really for me to talk about, really name every person that was involved with what we're doing and call out all the stakeholders and thank everyone. I'm not going to do that today because what we'll be doing is we're doing an annual report, which will come out in I think the second week in January. We'll have that ready. And then at the January meeting, I'll spend time, going through that annual report, talk about our 2023 accomplishments. We'll also do the same thing for the Partnership for Economic Growth with an annual report. But I did just want to say thank you to everyone, the staff, how hard they work. Certainly the loan committee members, our volunteer, board members and loan committee members volunteer. Thank you for all the time that you put in. We really, really appreciate it. And also our consultants, Philip Slidell and our accountants and Harris Beach and others that make really what we do happen. And without you, we wouldn't be able to do it. So I hope everyone has a really good holiday. And again, I just want to thank everyone.
Thank you. And we'll move into the treasurer's report.
Yes, you have in front of you balance sheet as 11/30/2023 for the IDA and all of its programs that we have listed here. I will call your attention to the top line there. $11.9 million in the bank for the IDA. We have $2.5 million of that is for the broadband project. 3.7 was money we just received from the county for the North County Industrial Park. So a lot of that $11 million is spoken for and designated, but a far cry from 17 years ago when in December I had checks in the drawer I couldn't mail out because we didn't have any money. So we've come a long way, and Mark and Nate have done a fabulous job here setting this organization up to be in a fiscally sound position for years to come. So kudos to you, Mark. I just point that out. So on there, the only other item is, and I will be calling the county to see about this bond payable for the airport hangar. We do own a hangar and we owe the county $81,000 on paper. The county was going to take title to that this year, Kevin. I don't know what happened. They were going to take it off our hands. It was a deal that Steve Abdella had done. So I'm going to check with them on that at the year end, see what they want to do. But that's the only other thing I'll point out here. Turning to the revenue and expense. All of our programs are in the black here, which is always good to see. I'll move quickly here to the variance report. So In November, we made the budget, so usually it's the week in December and Kayla's scrambling to the bank to get the checks in, but so we've exceeded our budget for our application and administrative fees. The majority of that comes with the timing of some solar projects. Solar projects, they can call you up and say, we want to close tomorrow, and then it takes 8 months, or they can call you up and say, we want to close tomorrow, and it does close tomorrow. So Millen puts up with a lot of large equity groups out of New York City that are buying these for their portfolio, and it takes a little bit of time sometimes to get them closed, but we have a lot more of those stacked up. So I see another few good years in the offing here. I think the company's in great shape. So we will beat our budget again this year, and we'll have a nice excess of revenue over expense. Some of the fees down there are just timing issues on the professional fees. We had a lot of professional fees for the North County Industrial Park, which we recognize the revenue and we have the money for that. So while it shows a negative there, it was basically a timing issue. So we're in very good shape. That's all. Unless anybody has any questions, Gary.
Thank you. We have a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Megan, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And we'll accept the treasurer's report. At this point, I'm gonna make a motion that we go into executive session. I have some personnel issues with the CCIDA that I'd like to discuss. We may have some other financial and credit issues to discuss of some of the borrowers as well. And I believe that discussing this in open session would substantially affect their value. Do we have a second to the motion?
Second.
Dan? We'll now go into executive session.
Thanks, Bob.